Urban jungles. Wildlife is thriving in cities. Have you ever noticed how wildlife is finding its groove in our cities? It's pretty wild. Take pigeons, for example. They've swapped their natural nests for high-rise ledges, and they're thriving. Then there are raccoons, the ultimate urban foragers, who've mastered the art of dumpster diving. Even coyotes are making a comeback, roaming city parks at dusk, adapting their hunting skills to the urban landscape. And let's not forget about the clever squirrels, who've learned to navigate traffic like pros. When you think of wildlife, you probably picture this: a lion on the savannah, a monkey in the deep jungle, a bear by a remote river. But what if I told you the wildest stories are no longer happening out times their asterisk, but right in our backyards? Forget the wilderness for a second. Our cities are the new frontier for nature. And animals aren't just getting by, they're staging a takeover. Today, we're uncovering how these urban pioneers are rewriting the rules to conquer the concrete jungle. We built these walls of concrete, glass, and steel, creating an environment that seems so hostile to life. For most species, it was too much. They vanished, retreating to the green spaces on the horizon. But for a select few, the outcasts, the opportunists, and the incredibly clever, the city wasn't an end. It was a challenge. What we're witnessing is more than just survival. It's a hostile takeover happening right under our noses. Animals are changing, fundamentally. They're modifying their bodies, their behavior, and even their DNA to master this new world we built. They're becoming true city dwellers. This is the story of the urban jungle, and how its residents aren't just adapting, but thriving. To really get this revolution, you have to meet the pioneers on the front lines. Our first pioneer operates under the cover of darkness. For animals like coyotes and red foxes, the biggest problem in the city isn't finding food, it's us. Their solution is as simple as it is brilliant. They just decided to work a different shift. City coyotes are now masters of the night shift, using the quiet hours to travel along streets and parks. They've learned the rhythms of our world, timing their movements with breaks in traffic. A fox in the countryside might need a whole square mile to find enough food. But a city fox? It can thrive in a tiny territory, sometimes shared with more than a dozen other animals. Food is everywhere, from overflowing garbage bins to the rats and pigeons that have also specialized in city life. By conquering time, they've turned our biggest disruption, our own presence, into a total non-issue. They live in a different city, one that only wakes up after we've all gone to bed. Our next innovator doesn't see the city as a habitat, but as a giant puzzle box. Meet the raccoon, an animal whose name is basically a synonym for urban mischief. For them, the problem isn't a lack of food, it's that we've locked it all up. We built a fortress, and the raccoon saw it as an escape room. The key to their success is a trait called behavioral plasticity, a fancy term for being able to learn, innovate, and change your strategy. Their famous dexterity, with paws that work a lot like our hands, lets them tackle complex locks and latches. But their intelligence is what really gives them the edge. They learn by watching, and crucially, they pass that knowledge on. A raccoon that figures out a tricky new bin can create a whole dynasty of garbage ninjas. This boldness is also fueled by another key adaptation. They're losing their fear of us. They've learned that most of the time, the big, loud primates stomping around are not a direct threat. Some recent studies have even pointed out that urban raccoons have slightly shorter snouts compared to their rural cousins. They aren't just living off our leftovers. They're coexisting on our turf, and they're definitely winning. While some animals conquer the city by avoiding us or outsmarting us, our final pioneer rises above it all. The peregrine falcon is the fastest animal on the planet, a dive-bombing predator made for open skies and high cliffs. For decades, they were pushed to the edge of extinction, and then they found a very unlikely sanctuary, our downtown cores. A falcon's main problem is finding a safe nesting spot, a high, inaccessible ledge, far from predators on the ground. Skyscrapers, bridges, and cathedrals became their new artificial cliffs. From these perches, the city below isn't a chaotic mess, but a perfect hunting ground. The city's heat island effect creates powerful updrafts they can ride to soar effortlessly. The falcon didn't just adapt to the city, they made it their own. A concrete ledge on the 50th floor of a bank tower is no different to them than a rocky cliff in the mountains. These stories are way more than just cool anecdotes. They are windows into a process that scientists used to think took thousands of years. What we're seeing in cities is evolution, happening in real time, right before our eyes. And the behavioral changes are just the start. In many cases, The city is literally rewriting the biology of its animals. Take something as simple as birdsong. In the city, the low-frequency rumble of traffic can completely drown you out. The solution? Urban birds and some species have started changing their tune, literally. They now sing at a higher pitch than their country cousins, a change that seems to be becoming genetically hardwired. In New York City, scientists studied white-footed mice living in isolated green spaces like Central Park. They discovered that these mice have undergone rapid genetic changes. Specifically, genes related to their metabolism have evolved, likely helping them digest the fats and proteins in human junk food, like cheeseburgers and pizza. But maybe the most incredible example comes from the crested anole lizards of Puerto Rico. In response, urban anoles have evolved longer limbs and larger, stickier toe pads to get a better grip on our man-made world. This is Darwin's natural selection playing out on a timescale we can actually see. The story of the urban jungle is, at its heart, a story of incredible resilience. It proves that nature isn't some fragile thing we have to keep locked away in preserves. The animals thriving in our cities aren't just survivors, they are evolving into something new. They are the vanguards of a new natural world, and they are living proof that life will, find a way. The coyote trotting through a sleeping suburb. The raccoon meticulously dismantling a burglar-proof bin. The falcon perched on a skyscraper. They're more than just pests or urban curiosities. They're holding up a mirror, showing us that our environment is selecting for new kinds of intelligence, new behaviors, and even new physical forms. This forces us to ask a pretty big question. What is our role in this new ecosystem we've created? The future of our cities isn't about trying to drive nature out, but on learning how to live times within times it. We've shown you some mind-blowing stories of adaptation, but the urban jungle is everywhere. What have you seen? Share your most surprising or fascinating urban wildlife encounter in the comments below. What animals are taking over your city? And if you want to uncover more stories about how nature is rewriting its own rules, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Pigeon finding a new home on the high ledges. The clever squirrel outwitting the traffic signals. The falcon surveying its domain from the tallest glass perch. The resilient raccoon enjoying the fruits of human waste. These urban pioneers are the true winners of the concrete jungle.